Radio CHRI. We're at Kingdom Bound 2014 right now in Darien Lake,
in
New York.
a golf cart.
In a golf cart, specifically, with Joel Smallbone of For King and Country.
Yes. Hi,
Thanks.
everybody.
Yes.
Care, nice to be with you.
One half of the
one
bros.
half of the brothers. So I apologize, Luke can't be here. He's still
That's all right.
feeling a bit unwell. So we try to pace him a bit on show days, but I'm glad to be with you nonetheless.
Thank you. Well, this is the second time I'll be seeing you at the festival. Looking forward to it. You guys have a new album coming out. We'll talk a bit about that in a second.
Yep,
Hold it in, hold it in.
certainly do.
Hold on.
Okay.
So first I wanted to talk about some more kind of fun personal stuff because our listeners know that you've been recently married, about a year now. And
a year and 3 days shy of a month. But who's counting?
Just keep that. Stick with the accuracy for as many years as you can, and you're going to keep winning points. Do the girls get along? You, Mariah and Courtney?
They actually get along swimmingly. They really do. Courtney and Mariah, I mean, they have a lot in common naturally, being married to two brothers who do music together, and they trade notes there, but they both love music. They both... Courtney, while is not an artist, she's a very talented musician and sings as well, and so they have that, and they kind of have this, they both have this not childish but childlike side to them that is really, I mean, they're very mature ladies, but it's this sort of just excited and looking at life through this wonderful vantage point. So when they get together, they have a blast. It's just sort of really cute to see.
And I know Courtney is singing on the album, I think, right?
She is.
Very cool.
True story. In fact,
I feel like this thing's going to drive away.
I know. We'll see you guys later. Tomorrow, well, this probably won't, I'm sure this is not going to air today, but nonetheless, on August 5th, that song is releasing to iTunes. It's sort of a pre-release to the record. So it's a very moving song, a very honest song. We're excited for people to hear it, no doubt.
So you're talking about the girls being fun when they're together. When the four of you get together, what do you do? Like, what's the kind of things that you guys would do together?
Well, it's very interesting because Luke and I spend so much time together out on the road. When we go home, often it's like we burrow away into our families. Mariah and I just love, we go for bike rides, we go see a film, we'll just make a meal at home, that sort of thing. And Luke, having a 1-year-old and his wife's halfway through a pregnancy with their second child, he's got his hands full there. So it's not as often as we would like that we sort of serendipitously all get together and just sort of hang out. But when we do, often Luke and I have 2 of 7 kids, so when we get together, most of the time the rest of the family comes along with us. So it's sort of this rambunctious bunch of Australians married to Americans.
Love it.
And we do all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah, special.
Yeah.
I know that when you're on stage, you guys are often talking to young women with the message of respect and honor. What stirred that up in you and Luke? Like, where did that come from? Where did that start?
Oh, good question, Kay. Our story is a bit of an anomaly, really, in that we grew up in Australia. Australia is very post-religious. I think there's 5% of people go to church or something like that, last I heard statistically. And we were very fortunate to grow up in a God-fearing family, and our grandparents were Jesus followers, and their parents were Jesus. So there's this rich heritage, which is, as I said, it's an anomaly for Australia. And our parents are an anomaly too, in a sense, because they've been married for I think 34 years now, and they love one another very deeply still. And so we're not speaking from a position of hurt or tragedy or what wasn't done. We're on the other end of the spectrum, actually speaking from a position of the way we saw a man love a woman, and the way we saw a woman flourish in a man's love, and the way we saw a man, frankly, become the best version of himself in a woman's love. And so it was specifically stemmed from a concert that we did actually with our older sister, who was an artist. It was a women's event. This was years ago, and my mum came to me right as we were about to walk on stage, and she said, "Joel, you've got all these mothers and young ladies here tonight, and they hear things from their parents, they hear things from ladies all the time, but they don't hear things often from men. I just wonder if you should say something." And so that that was kind of the beginning. I stood on that stage that night and I sort of shared something and it really resonated, and it sort of progressed into this campaign or this, this cause where we wear these bracelets that say respect and honor on them, and we have these necklaces that are in the shape and color of a 1-cent coin, and they stand for a woman's worth, and that a woman's worth more than all the money in the world. And so it's a twofold thing. A lot of it is to young women, but it's also to us men, saying, hey, count me in. I'll step up. I'll stand out. Chivalry's not dead. I'll treat these ladies as they deserve to be treated.
So just maybe, can you sum up that message to women that would be watching right now?
Yes. To any young or old lady that's watching, what we say at every opportunity we can is we say, girls, don't let any men disrespect you in relationships. Don't ever settle for second best. So often it seems as though society suggests for women to talk or dress or act or think or feel like they're cheap, like they're worth nothing more than a penny, but we believe there's a God that says you're priceless. And as I said, we wear these necklaces in the shape and color of a 1-cent coin. They stand as a reminder to us that you girls are worth more than all the money in the world. We wear these bracelets as well that say respect and honor, and we've literally, at this point, Care, seen tens of thousands of men and women, boys and girls, rally behind this cause. As girls saying, I know what I'm worth and what I'm not worth, and as men saying, hey, count me in, I'll step up, I'll stand up.
Amen. All right, I want to talk about the new album. It comes out September 16th.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd get to
Run
that.
Wild, Live Free, Love Strong.
Yes,
okay,
that is the
title. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the statement itself is really, and this is kind of the heartbeat of the record, is really a reclaiming of our birthright as humans to be all we were designed to be. I've seen, I think both Luke and I, whether it's in ourselves or in this country, even in Australia, there is this sense of fear that I think is so crippling to us as humans, as Jesus followers. And so it's kind of debunking that in ourselves, and particularly walking through Luke's illness, where he dealt with mortality, and dealt with the reality of passing away and all of these things. That sort of filtered into this record. So whereas the first album that we wrote is kind of an overarching statement about these big themes and ideas about life and God and relationships, this is much more pinpointed to personal experience, to what we've seen on the road, to being married, to Luke being a father. All these things are kind of written into Run Wild, Live Free, Love Strong.
September 16th, it comes out. Last question, just before we wrap up. I wanted to ask if there was anything we could pray for you about.
Yeah.
Whether it was Luke's health or maybe babies for you and Mariah. I don't know.
Not yet. Don't be praying for that yet. Say a prayer for about 3 or 4 years from now. Mariah and I love family, but with her being an artist as well, I couldn't imagine trying to raise a child in this environment right now. But family is important, obviously, for us. Marriage, protection over that. Luke's illness, he's doing better, but he's not quite out of the woods yet, so that would be another thing to say a prayer over. And then I think finally this record, we see ourselves as men that write music with a purpose, with hope, and we want the music naturally to get into as many hands as it possibly can and impact lives. And so that God will give us a certain favor with this album, not to sort of point fingers at ourselves or give ourselves proverbial pats on the back, but more importantly to sort of deflect that honor and applause upwards.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Cool. Well, again, the album comes out September 16th. It's Run Wild, Live Free, Love Strong. Joel Smallbone for King & Country. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Care. And thank you, Jason, behind the camera. Good man.